I want to do a quick video here on the different types of UFOs seen, okay? Because there's lots of different kinds of UFOs, and I don't really investigate many of the different kinds of UFOs. I investigate the ones that interest me the most, and the ones we see a lot around here, which are the less weird kind, really. There's many different kinds of UFOs, so let's go into it now. The first kind of UFO that people always see is a disc-shaped UFO, and that's a very rare kind of UFO these days. That's something that was seen a lot more in the 40s to 60s. And around now, like in the 2000s, no one's seen them too much. So it's like they're not a very common type of UFO reported. Mostly the UFOs that are reported are weird lights in the sky these days. So things like discs and triangles and things like that, and cigar-shaped things are very uncommon. Bringing us to cigar-shaped UFOs, which are a little bit less common than the light-type UFOs. I've never seen one of these ever. They're just a cigar-shaped craft moving through the sky. I think things like discs, cigar-shaped UFOs are all hallucinations, personally, but that's just what I think. But we'll get into the explanations of what can account for these types later on. Then you get to the kind which is the most common UFO kind reported, which is a light in the sky, which is unexplainable. There are many different explanations for these kinds of things. It all depends on the case itself, what kind of explanation you want to use. Because not every case is going to have the same explanation when you get to lights in the sky. Sometimes it could be a star, it could be a star under weird viewing conditions, it could be an atmospheric effect, it could be ball lightning, it could be thousands of different explanations for the light in the sky thing. So you've got to look at, when you investigate lights in the sky, you've got to look at the way it behaves. If it moves in an erratic pattern, it's definitely a UFO in my opinion. However, there's one kind of thing that can explain that, and that's insects. But if you don't see insects around them, then how is it insects in that case? So yeah, that's the third kind of UFO. The kinds of UFOs I investigate a lot are star-like UFOs, flashers, and flashing planes. These three kinds of UFOs, the third one is not technically a UFO, but something similar to a UFO anyway. These three kinds of UFOs are the most common ones we see around here. Star-like UFOs look just like stars. The only difference is they shouldn't be there, because they're seen on overcast nights, so they can't be a star. So there's something different than that. So they're definitely unexplainable, but they're not weird. They're just odd. So you see them on overcast nights. They tend to move just like a star, and you only see them on certain nights. And when you look at a star program that can tell you what stars are in what positions, no stars account for these things. So that's one of the kinds of UFOs I investigate. I've caught really good footage of these kinds of UFOs. And some of it's really interesting. Like one of the footage I took this February had a star-like UFO. I zoomed in on it and it looked really weird close up. Another kind that's seen a lot around here is the flasher, which is, don't confuse that with someone flashing themselves. A flasher is simply a flash of light that can't be explained up in the sky. I call them flashers because they just flash once and then you never see them again. These, I don't have a good explanation for these, honestly. They could be government satellites. They could be stars reflecting light from the clouds or something. There could be something very mundane for these kinds of UFOs, and there could be something very odd you just don't know, but lots of people see them. Around here, they're seen quite a bit. Another kind of UFO I want to bring up that's seen over and over and over again, and it's probably the most common kind of UFO seen these days, is the triangle-shaped UFO. These kinds of UFOs are generally a big triangle of three lights at each point of the triangle that hovers silently or moves across the sky silently. Sometimes the lights aren't fixed and they move around but stay in the triangle formation. Other times they are completely fixed to each other and stay the exact same distance from each other. And all the time they're moving across the sky at a very low altitude, so they're right on top of you when you see them. And these things can be huge, thousands of feet across. This is probably a secret aircraft, I hate to say it. I think there's a secret aircraft called the Stealth Blimp, which explains these. So this is something mundane, but something we're not supposed to know about. So yeah, that's another kind of UFO. So those are the different kinds of UFOs we see around here, and a triangle, flasher, and star-like UFO are the three kinds that we get a lot of reports of. The light kind of ones also get lots of reports of them, but they could be anything. So, you don't trust those reports as much.